During the past couple of months, we had a pleasure to discuss some, I believe, important topics, considering preparation period for the games, tournament organization of tournament games in recreational football. We were discussing, if you remember, the warm-up procedure. The last time we were discussing about the cool-down procedures. And this is the final lesson where we will discuss what to do in between halves of the matches or immediately after the games when we have a tournament to play. So I hope that you will have some interesting ideas to consider after the training sessions. When we consider the tournament settings, depending on the time that the matches will be played, we can divide tournaments generally in single-day tournaments or multiple-day tournaments. Also, depending on the organization of the tournament, the number of matches can be a single match per day, or there can be a multiple matches per day. But mostly when we are considering the recreational football tournaments, most of the time we have a single day tournaments with multiple matches throughout the day. So we will discuss some important issues, what to do in those periods between the games or right after the games in order to prepare for the next game or the next performance. So the single day tournaments, depending on the number of the matches and the time between each match, we can use some different strategies. Maintaining warmth, so the basic issue is to maintain as long as possible the core temperature of the body, because if we have increased body temperature during those rest periods, we will most probably increase the level of performance for the next game. Maybe the level of performance isn't too important for the recreational football, but we all know it is. But also we have another serious effect. Maintaining the body temperature will severely decrease the injury risk. So this is the win-win situation. If we maintain or try to preserve the body temperature throughout this rest period, we will both increase the level of performance and severely decrease the injury incidence risk. Activities between matches. If the tournament is a whole day or lasts several hours, it is useful to include some strategies like light stretching exercises, some breathing patterns, or short warm-up procedures with the aim of staying tuned for the next game. This will help players stay energized in one hand and ready for the next game, while also reducing the risk of strain injuries. Cold muscles, it is well known in the scientific literature that cold muscles are more prone to injury risks, and also can severely decrease performance. So what can we do? What can we do in those periods of breaks between the games to stay with a heightened body temperature? Well, basically we have two strategies. One strategy is called the layer up strategies. So it is related mainly to the clothes that we can wear in order to prevent body temperature decrease, and also about some strategies, active strategies to increase body temperature per se. When we are considering the layer up strategies, mostly we think about a thermal gear. We can start with using some high quality thermal based layers made from moisture wicking material. These fabrics traps the heat inside of our body or maintain for a prolonged period of time, while also allowing sweat to escape, keeping one dry and warm. So basically those thermal gear are a good choice. And the other strategy, the second strategy in this layer top strategy can be jackets and hoodies. So one or recreational football player could choose a lightweight jacket or a hoodie that can be easily adjusted once returned to the field. they should look for the style with ventilation options or zippers to regulate their own body temperature more efficiently. Also, they should avoid heavy clothing that might restrict the movement or add bulk to their body. There are several scientific articles. The one that I put is maybe the last one that I read. It was published a couple of weeks ago. That was basically dedicated to determine the influence of passive heating garments worn in temperature and cold conditions prior to simulated soccer activity. And this is a very good article, not directly related to measuring recreational football games, but the subjects were doing very similar stuff to based on intensity and volume of recreational games, and it has been shown that these heating garments are doing a good job in preserving body temperature and improving the performance outcome of the subsequent game-like situation. So when we are considering what can we do to stay active, the movement in those rest periods is the key, and during the breaks we should prioritize movement in order to maintain a blood circulation. We should engage in some light aerobic activities. If possible, those activities should be of low impact. We will see in the next slide, but if possible, we should use biking motion, if possible. If not, we can jog in place or performing some jumping jacks or similar activities to engage large muscle groups in order to increase the heart rate frequency and eventually subsequently to increase the temperature of our body. Also, during those short breaks, after those light jogging activities, we can include some dynamic stretching drills. So incorporating those dynamic stretching exercises will targeting major muscle groups, and this will not only helps keep us warm but also prepare our muscle for the next match or the next high intensity activity. Also, during the last decade or so, it has been recommended that we can use a foam rolling procedure or some massage ball or similar stuff to target tight muscle in order to improve the blood flow of the circulating blood flow and decrease the level of stiffness, increase the level of flexibility, which is also has been found to increase the level of subsequent performance and also decrease the energy risk. And you can see on this slide that there are also good randomized control trials that were relating high intensity rewarm up and possible enhancement of soccer performance, and most of the studies prove this to be correct. So when we are considering some other strategies to rest between when the rest between two matches is short, we can re-warm up by adding heating garments for maintaining muscle temperature and implementing 5 minutes of small-sided games, or some short period high explosive movements which can result in better explosive performance when compared with players that were 15 minutes just cooling down between the halves or the matches. So, or we can say that in another study we have compared players that participated in low intensity activity between two games and between halves, and we compared them with the group of players that were passive. And the results were very powerful in the way that they shown that the players who had some light aerobic activity during the breaks were more eager to continue with a high intensity effort during the next period of the game or during the next game if the break between the breaks was used for this high intensity movement. So when strategies when we have the last match during the tournaments, we should use a similar but not the same procedure. Those are the general recommendations for the rest period between before the last game of the day. The dynamic activities should be performed at a low to moderate intensity, so a little bit lower intensity, to increase the blood flow, but also to prevent the development of substantial additional fatigue. You get the idea, because it is most likely the fourth or the fifth game during this period of time. Most likely we are already fatigued with previous matches, and we should do some re-warm-up procedure, but not to be too intensive in order to prevent some additional fatigue. So we should involve low to moderate mechanical impact to prevent development of muscular damage. For the last period of warm-up procedure, maybe it is a good option to exclude high mechanical load or jumping or sprinting abilities, and to more be directed to low intensity jogging drills and low to moderate intensity dynamic warm-up. And the whole period of time for the re-warm-up should be a shorter, maybe 5 to 7 minutes, in order to prevent substantial interference with glycogen resynthesis. In this period of time, most likely we will have depleted glycogen stores, so we should be careful about this also. In addition, we should involve exercises that is preferred by the individual athlete. Maybe foam rolling, maybe stretching. If somebody likes yoga or breathing drills, it's more than appropriate. Considering nutritional recommendations, the most important thing is to replenish carbohydrates used during the game, but also to have a fast recovery, and consuming fast absorbing carbohydrates plus some small amount of high quality protein is the answer, is the optimal thing. Protein per se maybe are not so important in replenishing some small muscle damage that could occur, but they are more important because those small proportion of protein additionally increase the resynthesis rate of glycogen stores, which is the main issue after the game. So we should mix carbohydrates with high quality protein. Somewhere the ratio should be 4:1 approximately. When there is a short period of time between matches, nutrition is a key to staying healthy and in shape until the next match. So we should consider nutritional recommendations first, and after that we should concur to these light aerobic exercises, etc. What about some nutrition recommendations? We can recommend some snacks. First option maybe should be fruits, some bananas, apples, oranges. Those are all the great quick energy and hydration resources. Nuts and seeds could be recommended at seconds, or some granola bars, or maybe some interesting thing like peanut butter with rice cakes. This is the good proportion of fast resorbing carbohydrates and high quality proteins, or maybe the Greek yogurt as one of excellent choices. Considering hydration recommendation, we should bear in mind that staying hydrated is essential during the tournaments, which is why the best drink is water. Water is by far the best options, but also we can use some hypertonic drinks with a sodium concentration of 1 to 1.5 grams per liter and a carbohydrate concentration of 9 to 10% shortly after the games, in order to quickly replenish sodium stores and quickly replenish carbohydrates, while also doing great stuff for rehydration purposes. And basically those are general recommendations. What can we do in order to preserve the top level or high performance throughout the day in tournaments settings, and also to decrease the injury risk, which is mostly a priority in recreational in recreational football. If you're more interested in this topic, I put some references at the end of this lecture. So for any additional reading, please check the references. I hope that you had possibility to receive some high quality information. It is a short lesson, but I think with some high quality data. Thank you very much for being with us throughout this year, and hope to see you again soon.